Good afternoon, I'm Herman Green with the Midday News. A special welcome to those of you watching on onespotmedia.com. A reminder as well, you can watch TVJ live by downloading our One Spot Media app in the Google Play Store or the App Store. That's the number 1, followed by the word Spot Media. By next week, the country should know how much more money the National Security Ministry will get to help fight crime. Prime Minister Andreo said the government will be reallocating funds to the ministry to boost the resources of the security forces.
Minister of Finance will have some work to do next week, because we will be coming back here, Mr. Speaker, with some other measures that will supplement and complement what we are doing here today, which will speak to additional resources and strategies for the police force to tackle crime in the country.
The Prime Minister was contributing to the debate on the Special Zones of Operations Bill, which was passed in the lower house. Mr. Holness says the bill will increase the accountability of the police and military. Under the legislation, members of the security forces in charge of the special zones have to submit written reports to the National Security Council every 10 days.
And by naming the zone commanders, if anything goes wrong, there is a chain of command that leads to the zone commanders. So it is in their interest to make sure that whoever operates under them follows that written accountability framework, because it is that written framework that protects their action and protects the citizens.
Tighter security systems are coming for Jamaica's airports. That's the word from Transport Minister Mike Henry, who says Jamaica will fully comply with the new airport security regulations unveiled this week by the United States government. The U.S. has unveiled tough measures to enhance security on flights entering that country. The measures require enhanced passenger and electronic device screening across 105 countries. Speaking with our news center last night, Mr. Henry reacted to the U.S. government's announcement.
We must abide by those rules when they're implemented by a country in respect to its borders and the entry into its country. Just as we in Jamaica must recognize that the security of our airports may have 3 or 4 levels of security. One which relates to a homeland type security, which is the American name, and then there's the TSA. We are in our area relooking and restructuring the Port Security Corps, because every government has to be responsible for its citizens and its borders. And as such, we are very conscious of the need to heighten the integrity of the security at airports.
A U.S.-based truck driver and a Hanover businessman are being questioned in connection with Wednesday's multi-million-dollar cocaine seizure in Westmoreland. At about 6:45 p.m., detectives from the Narcotics Division were conducting anti-narcotics operations when they intercepted a 2010 Audi motor car along the Cave Main Road. The vehicle was being driven by its owner, 31-year-old businessman Denmark McGee of Welcome, Hanover. According to the police, he was accompanied by a male passenger who said he was 36-year-old truck driver Damian McLean of Florida and Westgate Hills in Montego Bay, St. James. The vehicle was searched in their presence, and 7 packages wrapped in brown masking tape were discovered in the trunk. The cocaine, which weighs nearly 8 kilograms, is valued at $9.2 million. The 4 Haitians who were rescued on Monday in Jamaican waters have been charged with illegal entry. The charges were laid late yesterday. The Haitians were rescued by fishermen but remained at sea until yesterday morning. Arrangements are being made for the 4 men to appear before the St. Thomas Parish Court today or Monday. Acting Commander for the St. Thomas Police, Deputy Superintendent Fitzroy Williams, told our news center that the Haitians were charged following an investigation.
Well, they have been checked out by the health people, and they have been sterilized, and so there will be no place before the court to answer for their reason for being illegally on the island. And at that time, the court will determine if it's deportation and if an order will be made as relates to what is the existing situation with them.
A farmer in the agricultural community of Boghole, Clarendon, is insisting that the action of residents played a major role in the flooding which devastated farmlands in the area in the past 2 flood events. TVJ News revisited the area over a week after the latest flood rains wiped out crops which had just been replanted following the heavy rains in May.
Rain, it was falling like for a night, and then the other day there was flooding. We have extended rain and there has never been this problem. The sinkholes are being blocked because of the styrofoam, the pumpers, anything that you can imagine that is used in manufacturing and for household stuff. That is what is affecting the community.
And like many other flood-affected communities, residents of the farming area of Boghole in Clarendon are appealing for urgent attention to address the growing mosquito population. They say fogging has been done since the latest flooding in the area on June 17, but insist much more is needed.
Yes, the mosquitoes are killing us. We cannot leave our door, no matter how you close the door, the mosquitoes are coming in. And from we have the flood, they came here one time, come to a little fogging, and they do not come back. And we badly need of the spraying in, fogging in here. They come on the main, but not on the turn-off lanes them. And most houses is in the turn-off.
And despite growing complaints from residents in the corporate area about the mosquito problem, the Ministry of Health says its vector control program is still being carried out. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Winston Delahaye says the ministry has embarked on several exercises to eradicate mosquitoes following the recent heavy rains. He is reminding residents to take personal responsibility.
We have certainly increased our activities as it relates to fogging. Fogging is one method of addressing the issues. We really can't lose sight of the personal responsibility for individuals in and around their homes, especially as it relates to the Aedes aegypti mosquito. And as we continue in our efforts, we have both increased duration of activities as it relates to fogging, in addition to increased numbers of persons engaged in fogging activities. We've actually employed 500 youth, which we did last year around this time for the same reason, to be in and around the home advising persons.
The latest vector control program is estimated to cost $40 million, and Dr. Delahaye says plans to release sterile mosquitoes into the environment are still underway. He was, however, unable to give a definitive timeline.
In the planning stages, the person specifically involved at the University of the West Indies, who is part of the team at the Mosquito Control and Research Unit, I know they are in dialogue with the persons in Vienna who are involved with this activity. And so that's been coordinated through the university. Certainly in the pipeline, we hope we'll be able to announce that shortly. But it's every effort that you must use in order to deal with this issue. It's a significant issue. These are small animals that create major difficulties.
A section of Mannings Hill Road in St. Andreo in the vicinity of Lawrence Avenue and Sullivan Avenue will be closed this weekend to facilitate drainage improvement works. The closure, which will commence on Sunday, will be for 3 months. National Works Agency Communications Manager Stephen Shaw says the existing drainage facilities, which include a gully and a ford, are inadequate and resulted in the scoring of the road surface. During the closure, the alternative routes will be Constant Spring Grove to Constant Spring Road, then on to Saxthorpe Avenue, or the reverse. Motorists can also use Lawrence Avenue to Sullivan Place, then on to Sullivan Avenue, or the reverse. And the National Works Agency, NWA, says effective this Saturday, additional changes will be made to the eastbound traffic along the Mandela Highway in St. Andrew. The changes will last for approximately 4 months. NWA Communications and Customer Service Manager Stephen Shaw says as of tomorrow, the 2 lanes of traffic traveling towards 6 miles will be diverted onto the newly constructed Q ramp on the northern side of the project, just beyond the Heidel group of schools. The traffic will exit back onto Mandela Highway in the vicinity of Tom Pringle Drive. Mr. Shaw says the changes are to facilitate the continuation of works on the current eastbound lanes. The NWA says safety features such as temporary street lights and road markings will be installed on the detour road. Motorists are being advised to obey the instructions of flagged persons and posted warning signs. And time now for our Fact or Fiction feature. We're asking, fact or fiction, Paul Boghole organized a rebellion that spread across 4 parishes. We'll tell you the answer at the end of the sports segment of the newscast. News now overseas. German lawmakers voted by a wide margin to legalize same-sex marriage today. The bill gives homosexual couples in Germany the same rights as heterosexual couples and will allow same-sex couples to marry and jointly adopt children. We go to the CNN for more.
It really is a landmark law that has been passed just now to change the German civil code to allow for a same-sex marriage as well. And you're absolutely right. It's quite strange also in the context of what you would normally think would happen in a German political process, because this whole vote was tabled very, very quickly. And in some ways, Angela Merkel even said she felt that she had been ambushed by the fact that this motion had been tabled in the first place. But it all started with earlier this week when Angela Merkel apparently met with a same-sex couple, with a lesbian couple, and afterwards said that she had changed her position on same-sex marriage from fundamentally saying that she believed that her party was against it, that they would not try to institute a law allowing for a full same-sex marriage, and had said that the members of her parliamentary faction could vote with their conscience in any way that they wanted to. And it certainly seems that that was the thing that in the end brought this law over the hump, if you will. It was the other parties in parliament, the Social Democrats that are in a coalition with Angela Merkel, but also the opposition parties, who after that moved very, very quickly to get this motion into parliament where it has now passed. There are some members of Angela Merkel's party, the Conservative Party, that have very, very big misgivings about this vote taking place in the first place. So this is something that certainly is a political risk for her, but at the same time, of course, also is very, very interesting, especially as we have an election coming up in just a couple of months.
And we go now to sports. With the post of JFF president now vacant following the passing of Captain Horace Burrell, the race to replace him has gathered steam, with several candidates making their intentions clear. But what will it take to succeed Burrell, who took the nation to the World Cup?
The number of persons vying to replace Captain Horace Burrell is increasing. Businessman Chris Daring says he's open to the idea. Clarendon FA President Michael Ricketts made it clear he will be running. Likewise, JFF Vice President Raymond Anderson and Craig Butler. But according to former national coach Carl Brown, whoever wins will be measured by the success of the captain.
They just have to understand that it is work. There's no time for bridal party right now. The festival is on and everybody have to celebrate, you know. And anybody who gets up the presidency have to understand it's a whole lot of work that they have faced them.
Former national goalkeeper and member of the historic 1998 World Cup squad Aaron Lawrence says the work ahead cannot be about any one man, but a collective group.
I just think that, you know, we just have to come together and work together as a team and work together as a unit. Whosoever go and be the president, they have to just know that they don't try to be like a captain, just try to be himself and do what it requires of us to do here in Jamaica to make the football move further. And I don't think there will be any difficulty for anyone who comes in to play the role and play a part and make sure our football be the winner.
But will there be another Burrell anytime soon at the helm of the JFF?
Life's a journey. Life is a journey, and who knows what we're going to encounter on that journey. I want to make my father proud in any way possible, and there are many avenues in which I think I could possibly do that. So we'll see in the future, but for now, it's just about honoring him and, you know, paying our respects for what he's done to the country, for the country. So those are my words.
The board of the JFF will meet on Saturday to decide on the process to replace Captain Burrell.
What will be on the agenda is the consideration of all the options as it relates to how we go forward. And I'm saying that one of the considerations will be or can be the election of an interim president. There has been no decision as it relates to that as I speak. Only the board of directors can make that decision, and we will next sit on Saturday.
And the next president of the JFF could be in for a payday, as there is a proposal that FIFA could be paying all 212 member federation presidents.
I have no reason to believe that FIFA, when they give it due consideration, there may be some amendment to the proposal or the various proposals, but more than likely, knowing FIFA, they are for the development of the sports and they recognize the work of the various members association, and if once their budget is able to carry it, I don't see any reason why they won't look at it favorably.
The next AGM of the JFF is tentatively set for July 2017 and will also be discussed at Saturday's board meeting. Reporting for TVJ Sports, I'm Keon Reyna.
And finally this afternoon, the answer to our Fact or Fiction feature. We asked, Fact or Fiction, Paul Boghole organized a rebellion that spread across 4 parishes. Well, it's fiction. The Paul Boghole or Morant Bay Rebellion happened in the parish of St. Thomas. Sam Sharp, however, organized a passive resistance by spreading word during prayer meetings at different estates. He organized a peaceful strike insisting a few days after Christmas that the slaves would not return to work in the fields unless their concerns were heard. Between 18 and 50,000 slaves from St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth and Manchester joined the protest. The protest quickly became violent as great houses and cane fields in the west were burnt. When the rebellion was put down by the militia in the first week of January, the dead included 14 whites and 500 slaves. The deceased include Sam Sharp, who was tried and hanged for his part as organizer on May 28, 1832. And that's the Midday News. I'm Herman Green. Join us at 7 for the Primetime News Package. On behalf of our news, sports and production teams, good afternoon and have a great weekend.